hit up the middle. In comes Benny Milgaard coming around third. He'll score easily.
Hello, softball fans, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the 36th annual Zeister Slot Pre-Championship Tournament here on our Super Sunday from Blikkenburg Sportpark in Zeist, Netherlands. Lance Wynn of Ballpark Broadcasting alongside my partner, Izzy Nukunuku. Glad to have you with us. We got a good one set up here with Team Australia taking on Denmark, and quickly go through the visitors from Australia. The batting lineup, Ryan Sinclair will lead things off. Scott Patterson will follow him. Nick Shales is in the 3 spot. Brendan O'Byrne bats cleanup. Josh White, number 5. Jet Wright, 6. He's followed by Liam O'Leary, Josh McGovern, and James Purcell. Defensively for this Denmark team, and we'll go into this soon when I get to my partner Izzy. It'll be Vladdy Turkelson, Freddie Turkelson, and Anton Brown from left to right in the outfield. Svein, Milne, Borger, and Wong will go around the horn in the infield. And it's Kim Jensen that will be doing the pitching and Jorgensen the catching. And Izzy, as we get started here, you talk about this tandem of Jorgensen and Jensen. They've been here since the dawn of time.
Yeah, they've been the stalwart for Danish battery for the last 15 years. Kim's been to New Zealand. He goes to the States and goes all the way around Spain and gets brought everywhere to go and pitch. But the teammates in Denmark, they're lights out in Denmark as well.
So certainly the nucleus, and I know if you throw Julian in there as well, then you're talking about really the trifecta, the anchor of softball here in Denmark. And of course, we will go through the boys in blue. At home plate, it's Patrick Reese. Arjan De Weaver is on first base. Thomas Leinhardt at second, and Jens Jakobsen at third. So we are just underway here. First batter and first strikeout goes to Hansen as Ryan Sinclair is strikeout victim number 1 to open up this ball game. Had a bit of rain yesterday, and of course that made the organizing committee reshuffle the schedule. Of course, games are a bit shorter today, but teams will get the necessary innings they need to prepare, and really, Izzy, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, it's about setting themselves up for the World Championship, so they get at bats against decent pitching, and some of like the Aussies and the New Zealanders getting game time in before, because it's been in winter coming out of there, hitting inside a gym or hitting in the rain. They probably felt like they were in their winter season yesterday.
Well, tell me something. What would you say the biggest challenge is? Like, would it be the fact that they don't have the same quality pitching that would be help with preparation, or is it what exactly is the number one thing? Is it pitching?
I think for both teams, they have the quality pitching because they're able to face the units that they have inside them, but it's about putting their game plan together and working together and seeing if they can string at-bats together. And when you're in the dugout, you can give information to a hitter about something, what they're doing. And that's what these 6 or 7 games have been about.
That pitch fouled straight backing up by Scott Patterson. Batting number 2 and playing center field for Australia.
Felt sorry for Denmark this morning, because New Zealand, after the tie game against South Africa last night with the pitchers performing really well, they turned up with their bats this morning and scored 15 runs pretty quick.
Well, but Izzy, we knew that was going to be the case, and I think that, graciously speaking, I thought that the New Zealand coaching staff and players were very gracious and complimentary about that game that South Africa played. They were upset that they didn't win. They were not upset at them for their tie, right? Yeah. They were happy for them. And I think you saw a real coach take his team aside and get them motivated to come out and hit the ball today. get back on track, get a little more focused, and get back on track. And that's what we've seen so far. But again, as I said to Coach yesterday, don't try to fool the softball world with your sleeping dog tactic. Okay? Please, okay? Don't act like you guys are wounded. You're not. You guys are A-okay. All right?
That's the thing that Nick Hayes said to me last night. I did a great job. Can you ask the coach if I can bat? I'm like, I don't have that.
I don't know if the coach and I are going to have a conversation right now. So, anyway, impressive with your 23 strikeouts for sure, as Nick Shales with a squilber that goes foul, and not able to allude to Nick Shales, of course, who arguably one of the best all-round players, certainly in the game right now, batting third here for Australia. And I mean, there really isn't anything that I haven't seen him do or any position I haven't seen him play that he doesn't play it at the top level.
Yeah, he's a quality player. There's when you think of Australia, you think of Jeff Goolagong and Nick Shales, and then obviously the pitching staff.
Mm-hmm. And a very formidable pitching staff at that, and we'll of course allude to them in the next half of the inning. 2 away here, so Hansen doing a good job getting the first 2 hitters. This guy's going to be a little tougher, and you can bet that usually it's hard ground ball to short over in time. So a good job and a good clean inning for Denmark as they hold them down 1-2-3. We will stay with you and quickly run through the batting order for Team Denmark. It'll be Vladdy Turkelson to lead things off. Anders Jorgensen is batting in the 2 spot. Freddie Turkelson will be batting third. Daniel Juleman is the cleanup hitter. Anders Fain bats 5th, and Tom Brown 6th. Alejandro Wong will be in the 7th spot. Jakob Borger will be batting 8th, and Duncan Milne will round out the 9. Defensively, of course, and it's a solid defense when you look at Australia. Sinclair, Patterson, and McGovern are the outfield left to right. Shales on the hot corner, right O'Byrne up the middle, and White is the first baseman. And Purcell, of course, will be catching for Volker. So when we look at that lineup, Ian, we talked, as we see Adam Fulkert, we talk about Nick Shales being one of the best all-round players in the game. I think we have to be looking at probably the top pitcher in the game right now.
Yeah, Adam's been the top pitcher for a long time. I think he's been 6 years. Obviously, he gets his teams into situations, and those situations usually produce a medal. So if he's healthy and firing, as well with Andrew Kirkpatrick, this team is unstoppable. They have a left-hander and a right-hander that can come out and throw everything.
So not only do they throw everything, they've got tons of international experience. They're both good height. Andrew comes in at 6'6", so it's like with a little bit of a hop, he's already pretty much handing the ball to the catcher. So that's his advantage. Forget the fact that he's got a number of different pitches and good velocity, that too. But when you look at Adam, his delivery is so fluid. He is very much the measuring stick that a lot of the guys want to get to. But for him, it's been impressive watching his evolution, because you can't just come in and Izzy, you've been around this game for so long to know that it's not about just trying to blow by everybody. You can have good velocity. There's hitters here that can hit velocity, no problem. It's when you have those other variety of pitches and learn to pitch in the right situation that you really become that pitcher heading to the next level.
He's also a great guy. You can walk up and talk to him about things, and he'll show you any pitch that you want to see. He's like he's all about the game. He's not about he gets the accolades and sees all that, but he'll take the time out to turn down and talk to a 10-year-old kid or a 12-year-old kid who wants to learn how to pitch. And they've been doing that this week while they've been here in Holland.
And that's the beauty of it. So Vladdy Turkelson here in a battle. And that ball is lifted up and converging in right center. Making the call and making the grab is McGovern for the first out of the bottom of the first inning. So that'll bring up Anders Jørgensen for Denmark.
So earlier today, Japan and Australia went to battle, and it was a ding-dong battle between the pitching staff. Andrew Kirkpatrick threw that one. They Japan got up 1-0 with a home run. And that was the scoring of the game. It was more of a strikeout game, and the Japanese used all 4 pitches again.
And there have been, different philosophies on how to use your rotation in this pre-tournament. So it's very interesting to see what some of the guys, some of the different teams are doing, and which games they're taking as more serious than others. And Adam Folker took a little off there, and when you're standing in there against a guy who has the velocity like that, and then he comes with something exact same delivery, only it's about 10 or 15 miles slower, boy, there's not a whole lot you can do, really. And
just buckle your knees, really.
Just buckle your knees and try to stay on your feet. That's right. Very close pitch there. Volkert wanted that, and you can usually tell when he'll never get really mad, or he doesn't show a lot of emotion, but he may take an extra little walk or a couple of extra steps just to regroup, and comes with a rise ball up and out of the zone.
Yeah, they have an art of using certain things to make the umpire realize they're talking to them without actually talking to them.
Without talking to them. Well, and as a coach, you have to kind of do the same thing sometimes. I don't know how that's worked for you. That ball is lifted out deep the other way and will drift foul. So a good piece of hitting going the other way, not able, though, to keep it between the white lines.
I guess the catch is feeling like a little boy between the umpire and the batter here.
I would imagine so.
I wouldn't want us to stand out there.
I think you're right about that, Izzy, for sure. So even though the games today will be shortened, the quality is good, and there's Adam Folkert rearing back. He gets Jorgensen for his first strikeout of the ball game, and it'll bring up the center fielder, Freddie Turkelson. I'm sure this team glad to get number 50 back patrolling center field as they get prepped to go for a run at the Worlds. That pitch in there for a called strike. You see Adam, too, he doesn't, rarely, there aren't a whole lot of waste pitches with him.
Yeah.
Every pitch, even if it's a pitch that he doesn't want to throw as a strike, he has a specific location that he'd like to be able to get that pitch. I've seen him be frustrated at himself for just missing the fact that he's supposed to be missing, right? And that just gives you an idea of the work ethic and the kind of thought process that's going through his mind.
That's what makes you world's best around that. I mean, they have to be. He has to have some kind of OCD because he's wants to make sure that spot's there all the time.
Well, I think that and a very short memory is what you have to, and in certain situations, and I say short memory, but it's got to be a selected short memory. So you got to remember the guys who you got to remember, but also be able to let that go and move on. And rearing back, swinging through, and that was pure heat from Adam Folkert. As, again, matching 2 strikeouts, no runs, no hits, and nobody left the board. We've played 1 complete. We're scoreless. Back here in a minute. Welcome back as we get set for the top of the second inning. We're not going to be too overly concerned with these games being more of a time factor than they are an inning factor. But here in the second, with his first go-around, will be Brendan O'Byrne, Josh White, and Jet Wright, the 3 scheduled hitters for Australia here to face Kim Hansen. Hansen breezed through the first half of the first inning, and back here again, check down. No, he did not go around. So a complete change from yesterday's weather to today. And we're very thankful for that, as that pitch, Byrne was right on that. Sure didn't miss that one by much. And I think that Jorgensen-Hansen tandem there might want to be a little leery if they're planning to throw that same pitch in that same location again. And he came again, outside corner. Good pitch from Hansen.
Kim's controlling his pitches really well, so just hope he doesn't give it a loose one.
Well, you know what? If the pitchers threw it where they wanted to every single time, I don't know if anyone would get a hit, right? That's the thing of the game. That's where the human element comes into play.
As I said, we've seen a few games that have been pitcher dominated that taking most of the outs.
As that pitch, O'Byrne got a good hold of that, sent that one back into the wilderness, and hopefully one of the kids with the helmets in the net are back there chasing that.
Here he goes.
There you go. That's
straight into the bush. No
into
fear.
the bush. No fear at all. Little different look here on this diamond to the diamond that we were on yesterday, all grass. That's a one hopper all over that second hop. Going to be a tough throw, but O'Byrne runs really well, and that's the case here as he works himself an infield hit. So a leadoff single for O'Byrne will bring up Josh White.
The shortstop made a nice play, got to the ball, just couldn't get his balance to make that throw.
I don't even know if he would even have had it. He would have had to charge that ball and get the hop a little higher and get it over. That was the only chance he had. O'Byrne just runs too well. The kid's like a jackrabbit out there and got a good jump out of the box. So
Australia's new head coach is Kerry Johansson, ex-Black Sox shortstop, quality left-hander hitter.
Well, it's funny how quality organizations seem to just spread their people out, and that's the way it should be. How else are we going to grow the game the right way if you don't send the right people out? And you, of course, are a case in point of that. You're a living example of taking that knowledge and bringing it internationally. Okay, now we're not going to get into any stories. we're going to leave a lot of the areas gray. Okay, but it's guys like you, Izzy, that have brought a lot of the knowledge of the game, a lot of the philosophies of the game, and a lot of the foundations of the game that make a big difference. There are some things that a lot of people wouldn't know in North America if they weren't ever exposed to New Zealand softball or the way the game is played that way. So really, that's the reason why and how softball has grown throughout the world. And it's no longer a game just dominated. Runner goes and in, no problem. White will earn the walk regardless. So O'Byrne was going to be standing on second base one way or the other. So 2 on for Jet Wright. So good job. All right, good job, Izzy.
Thanks for that. I learn everything from everywhere as well. You learn the sport as you move.
Well,
sometimes
pick up the good things,
yeah,
right? Put them in your back pocket, chuck the other stuff. That's good.
And then find all those stories.
Well, you seem to be capable of making up your own stories on your own. Okay. You know, I know you travel with an enabler. I know that. Okay. But that's okay. He's a good guy as well.
I guess this name is quite a nice name, isn't it? Jet Wright.
Jet Wright is pretty authentic if you're talking sports. I don't think it even matters which sport, but he was certainly on my all-name team at the last Worlds. I mean,
Yeah,
his name's Jet Wright.
Jet
What
Wright,
are you
yeah.
going to say?
His mother and father will be happy with that
They'll
name.
be happy with that as he chases that rise ball and swings through it for a strike. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to count here. 2-men aboard, chance for Australia here in the top of the second. And Wright will lift that up and drift out of play. So with this diamond being unplayable yesterday, all the games were moved to the all-grass diamond, which really was a savior because it was the only reason you could continue to play with that rain. But now it's back to another adjustment as far as the infielders go and the different bounces and that sort of thing. So close proximity, but 2 totally different diamonds to have to work with.
It's better for the preparation of the for the pitches, because on the grass diamond they're using a mat, and here they're using a block, so it helps the pitchers get ready for what they need to do.
Well, they're going to have to definitely follow the rules, and I know in North America that's always a challenge because in league play, guys are always allowed to do different things with the pro hop and jumping to the side and how much of a skipper do you have. And a lot of times guys get to the major tournaments, as you see Jet Wright take one just in the rib area, and certainly no ill intent there from Hansen. But that doesn't make you feel any better.
Hansen just blew the dugout a kiss.
See that? Yeah.
Well, then I guess I have to backtrack on that statement and let the chips fall where they may then, because that wasn't overly nice, now was it? So, okay.
The coaches are trying to ask that the better swing. Was it an emotion? And
Not sure how he could swing, couldn't breathe when the ball hit him right in the rib, but okay.
But I guess everyone was watching the bat and not the ribs.
There was not okay. We'll see. And I know we've in North America, and I speak specifically in Canada, that kind of situation in league play and in even in big tournaments, you're probably going to get something back.
Yeah.
That's just the way things go. Guys out, and that gets away from the catcher. 1 run's going to come in to score in O'Byrne. So, not sure if you can call that karma. Call it what you want. I call it a 1-0 Australia lead.
So there's been a few injuries at this tournament so far. Like I said, with Denmark losing their shortstop yesterday with their shoulder. Today, watching the game Australia-Japan, the Japan batter turned to bunt and didn't get his finger out of the way and got jammed on the bat. And he's quite a prominent player, so he was off quite smart and iced up, and now he's walking around with a big ice patch on his finger.
Well, I mean, we've seen worse, so we'll say that, but I tell you.
That's another one.
And that's the downside to this tournament. I think that was more of a bit of didn't exactly work hard in getting out of the way, but you've opened up a can of worms that you're now going to have to deal with, and the bases are loaded here with a 1-run lead already.
So,
looks like they're
making a change, Australia on the runner.
So it'll be Josh McGovern that comes up here with the bases loaded, and after cruising through the first inning with 2 strikeouts and a ground out for Hansen, he gave up an infield hit, walk, hit by pitch, and we're just keeping an eye out here. And one of the reasons when you talk about being hit by pitch, there's a concern for that at this stage, right? When you have when you're preparing for a world tournament, you can't afford to have injuries. So it looks like Callum Bischel will come in to run or take over for O'Leary. And it'll be up to McGovern here to see if he can't break this one open. That pitch, tried to frame it and bring it down, missed just up. And I tell you, you hit a couple batters, and it usually gives the umpire the notion or the insinuation that your control's a little susceptible. So now if you're looking for those borderline calls, you know, they're going to be awfully tough for you to get.
Yeah, he's always going to be preparing to protect the batter.
Good rise ball there, got McGovern to chase it. And took something off this time, catches the upper part of the outside corner. So Hansen battling back here. And a swing and a miss. So good sequence from Hansen as he gets a much needed strikeout for the first out of this inning. That'll bring up James Purcell, the number 9 hitter.
Oh, maybe it's somewhere in the office.
Purcell, of course, doing the catching duties.
So infield playing in, hoping to cut down the runner at home plate.
I think that's the best way to do with a force at each bag, as that pitch looked good just down below the strike zone. And that pitch hard hit. Good job from second to home, and a good slide from White to make sure Jorgensen didn't have another throw. So they get the force on the fielder's choice at home. So score that 4-2 on the fielder's choice. 2 away now, and it'll go back to the top of the shop in Ryan Sinclair. And you got to figure Australia would want to at least pocket one more run out of this situation.
Yes, they can't leave these bases loaded.
So infield back to regulation depth with 2 away and a swing and a miss from Sinclair.
Sinclair last time at the plate, he took the 3 strikes as well. So he's hoping to make sure that he can keep himself moving.
Did not go around on that pitch. Awfully close. So did a good job just to hold up.
Sinclair with a second look with bases loaded, they know he's got to throw him a strike, so he'll be looking to drive the ball.
And a swing and a miss. So Hansen right there, Sinclair just not able to make any contact. And now 2 strikes, got some work to do. 1-2 the count. And not quite sure they're going to check it, and yes, he did. They're not even going to check it. Home plate umpire Patrick Royce is going to ring him up himself. So caught looking or caught going around on the swing. Either way, 1 run though, off just 1 hit. 3 men left aboard. We will be heading to the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 Australia. Set to go here for the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Junonon, Svein, and Anton Brown, the scheduled 3 hitters, to face Adam Folkart. and Australia. Just to give you a heads up about what's to come, of course, it has been a busy morning already. Denmark was New Zealand with a convincing win over Denmark, and then Japan edged Australia 1-0. 3-0 New Zealand beat the Netherlands, and Japan, South Africa currently underway as, of course, the game we're doing. So apparently Japan won that one convincingly. So a look ahead after this game. Denmark will take on South Africa, and New Zealand, of course, will roll in to take on the Aussies. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go through here. Right now, Juleman is trying to solve the world's best. Big swing and a miss there. Had a healthy cut.
Got us all back from it.
Well, that was a healthy cut for sure. Not the first person to take a healthy cut at Adam Folkert and come up empty. Folkert comes with a little chin music, and boy, oh boy, he had to have felt the breeze of that go by at the very least. And with Folkert on the mound, he's probably not the guy you want to go tit for tat with if you're talking about, sticking guys. It's probably, I think Adam, if he wants to put it on you, you may not see the Worlds next week. So probably best, to leave that one alone.
Come out with catcher's pads on.
At a full cage mask, yes. And that time, down he goes. Turn that K the other way. Sit down Juleman and bring up Anders Svane with one away. Denmark trailing by a run. No real breeze here today either. It just seems like it's a nice temperature and not a whole lot of wind or anything as Folkert pours in a strike.
It's good softball for people to come out and watch, and we've got a lot of people here watching today, all getting ready for the next game when Holland plays Japan.
That pitch up and in, and I think a subtle message being sent as far as let's not go there, but if you want, we can. And that's a beautiful pitch, and I tell you, that's going to be the pitch that he has been working on to perfect, that is going to be awfully tough as a hitter for you to hit coming in the Worlds. A high, hard drop that looks like it starts around the eyes. Two-hopper, that's gobbled up and flipped over with ease by Wright, and there are two away, 6-3 on the putout. And you figure that when you've already got the velocity, if you're Folkert, now you're tinkering with pitches. Right now you're trying to add a change up here. A guy like Darren Zach, when he got in his later stages of his career, he was really great, not because he had the same velocity, but because he had 8 or 9 pitches.
Yeah.
And when you have a drop change and a change rise and a curve rise and and a drop dip and rise half ball, right? When you have all that sort of thing, then it really makes a difference as a pitcher, as that one's framed nicely. But as a hitter, it's a nightmare.
As a catcher, it must be a nightmare trying to remember the signals.
Well, that's when the catcher had the extra size glove, where he'd use the trapper in the back as opposed to a regular catcher's mitt, because sometimes you just needed that extra little bit. And a swing and a miss. Takes an awful lot to rattle an Adam Folkert, I'll tell you that. And got a foul tip. That's all he got. Swing and a miss. 1, 2, 3. Down go Denmark. No runs, no hits, and nobody left aboard. We're going to mosey on over to the third. 1-0 Australia. Set to go here in the top of the third inning. It will be the 2-3-4 hitters for Australia, and a good cut there as Scott Patterson will lead things off, struck out in his first at bat. He'll be followed by Shales and O'Byrne. And that ball is lifted up, and right where he should be was Brown. And a good job. 3 or 4 steps to his left on a ball tailing away, makes the grab, and they're one away.
So up to bat now we have Nick Shales, but I was sadly mistaken a couple of games ago when I was looking at Hayden Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like the bearded one. He actually is trying to take the Shales look. I think.
I see. I see what you're saying. Because stature-wise, they look a little different, but
Yeah.
bearded-wise, very similar. And since Shales has taken on the lumberjack sports look, which is good with his brand,
Yeah.
so he figures that.
So I think he's hooked at another lumberjack.
I think he has. I think he's got some backing for sure.
I think the third base from Denmark would give him a
I
give him a
think
run
so
as well.
too. I think so too. Svein, I think he can hold his own in that club as well.
Might be some batting gloves going around the bearded ones.
You're right about that, is he? And that ball is
that's
lifted up and drifting, but stays in the ballpark. So good contact made, but plenty of action out there for Anton Brown. As back-to-back hits his way, will bring up Brendan O'Byrne. So O'Byrne started and scored the game's only run with an infield single. It was followed by a walk and 2 hit batters, a strikeout, and then a fielder's choice that ended that inning. But hit by batter caused the only run of this game, so the only run of the game unearned. Took a little off and just missed on that outside corner.
A lot of these teams looking to play their last game after this one, so a lot of things clicking for them. The pitching staff and making sure the runs are not coming out of plenty has been a big thing here. It's only been a couple of blowout games, and those are the games where those hitters just are a class above. But some of these games, some of these teams that go away with no wins, but having good results are good confidence boosters going into the World Championships.
I would agree. Took something off that change-up. O'Byrne fouled that one out of play.
No other one than South Africa this morning. They turned up and it sounded like the radio was on, but they were singing all the way in, and everyone stopped to watch them turn up.
They do put together a good tune, I'll tell you that. They come in chanting, and it's nice to see international teams bring their culture and bring the things that they bring to the park, and don't change a thing personality-wise. That's what makes you who you are as O'Byrne goes down. So a good, clean inning for Hansen. 1, 2, 3, down go the Aussies. We'll be back with the home half of 3 after this. Set to go here for the bottom of the third inning. It looks like Wright is going to be out of this ball game, and he'll be replaced by Norton. So Norton already out there playing shortstop. So not quite sure if I guess that pitch
might have hit that.
might have got him in a spot that got him near the rib area. So hopefully that's.
Hope it's just a precaution.
Let's hope that's a precaution. I agree with you 100% there. As
We can't lose our favorite name.
no, for sure. So Wong, Borger, and Milne, the scheduled hitters. That gets away and be no chance to get the runner there. So even when playing, there's always something about getting that base after the strikeout that just doesn't seem right, if you know what I mean, is he?
That one there tied the catcher up. It hit right in front of the batter, and the batter swung at it.
Crazy hop.
And didn't know where the ball was. Denmark happy as Larry that he's on base.
They sure were. They definitely were. Well, again, I told you the story yesterday about a foul tip off Darren Zach being classified as a hit. Well, you know what?
There it is.
There it is. Prime example right there. 2019. Square in the bunt. That's no easy task to do against Adam either. I can say that as Borger tries to keep that one between the lines. Good attempt, though. Seems comfortable doing it, and that's, a bit of a lost art sometimes when you think about it.
Well, that's been one of the things that we've noticed at this tournament. Not a lot of bunts have been executed, and the small ball is going to be winning you the game.
That one gets away, and the runner will scoot down to second base on. I would classify that as, I guess, a wild pitch, even though it scooted through the wickets. So a chance here for Borger to.
They checked down for the swing, and umpire said yes on that one, so it's 2 strikes on our batter now.
Wow, that's a wrinkle I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
But okay.
That's why I wonder why the boo was happening, and then umpires had his arms out like wings.
I see. No balls, 2 strikes the count. You're correct. So going to have to do it the fun way if you're going to cash this run in. And that ball lifted up, but it's an infield pop. Easy play there for O'Byrne. And there are now 1 away.
I don't know if you kids have seen this, but Adam Folker just showed that fly ball went up. He got out of the infield, went to back up at third base just in case there was a play. And most pitchers at junior age like to stand in the middle and watch. But someone with that much experience, you're watching him, he's still getting out.
Still doing the things you're supposed to be doing. Fundamentally sound. Those are the things, Izzy, that when you're coaching, you're trying to instill in these guys. You're trying to get these guys to do this second nature, right?
Yeah. It's just
Duncan Milne now will step in and look at a called strike from Folkart. It's a 1-run lead here in a 1-0 game for Australia. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Lance Wynn alongside Izzy Nukunuku. And that pitch in tight.
I think he got a bit of a fright there. He got a bit of a jump. And the look on his face when he came back.
Probably
to the
caught a bit of the wind of that breeze going by the chest area.
I think it's going to break me.
I think that's not. I don't think I want any real part of that. That one gets away, so the runner is going to advance now to third base. So a couple wild pitches have got a runner on third here for Denmark, the tying run. With 1 away, and Milne trying to scratch something out here. Infield drawn in now, looking to cut that run off. And that pitch in there for a called strike. Hard to argue that. Not sure what your argument would be based on.
Where is it?
And a swing and a miss. So Folkart battles back. brings that rise ball in on the hands. Not a whole lot you're going to be able to do with that. And with 2 away now, it'll go back to the shop in Vladdy Turkelson. So Turkelson with a chance here to tie this game up if he can deliver somewhere, somehow, sometime.
So Turkelson, he's sporting a face mask due to a situation that happened a couple of weeks ago where pitch got in on him and managed to break his nose, just showing he's fighting his way back to make sure he wants to be at the World Championships.
Well, that shows a lot. I think both Turkelsons will be instrumental in solidifying this team to, at the very least, be in some sort of contention. And realistically speaking, I see them somewhere middle of the pack kind of idea, depending on if they can get everything rolling right. Certainly no disrespect meant, just sort of being a little factual about what they're up against.
Yeah, the top 8 teams, they bring the pitching and the hitting.
And a little chin music there as Folkart goes up in the zone, way ahead in the count, 1-2.
Gets a wry smile from Valdemar after that one.
Well, these guys know if Adam really wanted to hit you, he would.
Yeah.
So, and comes again with that high drop that he just missed. And I've seen him throw that high drop in situations, and I think it fools the umpire as well. And the umpire may be flinching like the catcher's flinching. And he is probably thinking, I don't know how that dipped into the plate. So Folkart just rears back here and puts a little extra on, and now there are 2 strikes on.
I'm sure we
Vladdy
could do a
Turkelson.
Folkart challenge and put an apple on a tee and see if you could hit it off it.
Or just nick a side for a bite out of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're probably right. Swing and a miss. So down they go. Got the man already to third base. That's as close as we would. No runs, no hits, and a runner left aboard. We played 3 complete, 1-0. Australia back after this. Back here for the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Josh White, Jet Wright. Well, sorry, not Jet Wright, and Liam O'Leary. Having taken over, it's Norton that will be in the lineup for Wright. We will check on the status of Jet Wright and make sure that all is good as we move along. That pitch in there for a strike. And with the exception of that 2nd inning, Hansen has been pretty good. He had a good 1st inning, 1-2-3, struggled in the 2nd, and had a 1-2-3 3rd. And that ball is lifted up into right field. That's going to be shallow, but tracking that down and making the grab out there.
Right field's been pretty busy in this game.
And Tom Brown has had a lot of work. And add that one to his collection of 3, and now it will be Norton that will step in to hit for the injured Jet Wright. Took something off, but wasn't able to drop that in the strike zone. Norton's a big man. You're going to teeter on the bottom of that strike zone. You're going to have to bring it up just a bit more than that, and comes with a rise ball that misses up.
He's quite a big man for he's quite actually agile. He's playing shortstop. He makes some good plays at shortstop.
It's not often you see another Cal Ripken type as far as size goes in the middle infield. That's a check swing that caught a bit of Jorgensen's fingers as well.
Norton also catches as well. So
he plays a few positions
yeah,
for a man of his size. So yes, you're right.
Quite versatile. Every coach's dream, a player that can play a key position twice.
Boy, if you get one of those, and that ball is looks like it's going to drop, and it does, into shallow left field. So a single for Norton as he comes in and makes an immediate impact. Base runner for Liam O'Leary now. And O'Leary out of the lineup, and coming in for him will be Callum Bishop.
Callum Bishop ran from in the previous inning, so they've kept him in the lineup.
So Bishop stays in, and now gets his chance here to get a look at Hansen, who comes right at him, but that pitch not called a strike. And I think this does one of the things that Hansen's going to have to understand. You're going to go to a world tournament, and you're going to cry about every pitch you don't get. The more you cry, the more pitches you are not going to get.
And the more the umpires talk about it.
Well,
they don't go into.
You're absolutely right.
They don't go in back and talk to each other.
And then the next game comes, and you're looking for that again, and you're not getting these close ones, and you're wondering why. Okay, so forget the fact that the hitter's reading your body language and knows that if you're disappointed you didn't get that last pitch, chances are you're going to try to make it up in the next pitch. So they're going to sit on that. Hence the reason why you've got a guy like Folkart who's usually pretty stone cold and pretty even all the way across. And the good pitchers are, as that one is flared and into no man's land, so just down the right field line, but no one able to track it down. So Bichel has a little more life and another opportunity. A few of these kids on Australia have come from their junior ranks, their top junior team that was instrumental in taking home the championship at the World Juniors. And again, that's almost in the same no man's land, and it's a foul ball. So Bichel puts another foul ball almost in the exact same spot as the previous one. Usually that would indicate you take your infield and maybe take a couple of steps to your left. Probably going to hit the ball the other way is what it looks like. And Hansen comes in there, catches him looking. So a big strikeout for Hansen. Sixth strikeout of the game for Kim, and now it'll be Josh McGovern. And Hansen comes in there with a strike. And again, so working the corner as well. Give Hansen credit. He certainly has good velocity and seems to be hitting his spots. So I guess that hit by pitch, just a temporary loss of control.
Oh.
As that ball is lifted out into right field. That's a base hit. Making the turn, it's bobbled. Runners are both going to advance on the play. And almost thrown away one more time. So good heads-up base running from Norton as he moves over. McGovern with a single. And now you have two men aboard. It's always amazing. I know when you go in the U.S., there are some things that we call obstruction seats, and they're really cheap, but the problem is they're usually behind a pillar. This time around, we seem to have this roving pillar that seems to be rolling in front of us every time there's some sort of important play. So I'm going to try to move up a bit in the box with hopes that we can maybe catch that pillar before it comes up again one more time. Right?
Yeah.
So, Izzy, I know you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay. God love the young man or the old man, whatever you want to say. But gee whiz, sit down. James Purcell at the plate here with a chance to add to the 1-0 lead. And that pitch, good twist from Purcell, good pitch from Hansen. As it's off the screen right here. Izzy, I saw you jump up for that one like you almost had it.
Yeah, I was trying to catch it,
Yeah.
then I realized that there's a big fence in front of us.
Right, okay. Good hustle, coach.
Trying to protect you.
And a pitch that looked pretty good. Doesn't get the call there, and Hansen's asking, was it up, was it down? And the umpire, completely stone-faced, had absolutely no comment.
Umpires have got to make the comment. You got to give some feedback.
Just a little. 3-1 the count here to Purcell. And that pitch definitely in there for a called strike.
Kim becoming antagonizing towards the umpire after that one was up.
Well, that's why you didn't get any sort of answer whatsoever. So, and a good twist from Purcell on a pitch that just stayed up a bit in the strike zone. You got to figure here that Purcell's going to get something that he could probably drive. Hansen doesn't want to go another batter. Would like to end the inning right here.
Well, I just got a message from my son. He just told me make sure I have a good flight home. So you'll be just flying to Prague from here? Or?
Yes, we're going from here to Prague. As no, he did not. Oh, he did go around on that, and
wow.
I don't think there's even reason to be upset. I just think that's just a missed call. Simple as that.
There's a lot of hands on heads around the crowd.
That's pretty much a bit of a head shaker. Either way, down go the Aussies. Heading down to the home half of the fourth inning. 1-0. Back here after this. Back here for the bottom of the fourth inning. Joined by my special guest, head coach of the Netherlands, Mr. Benten Paas. It's a pleasure to have you in the booth with us. Thanks very much. Just maybe give a little insight on what your thoughts is coming into a tournament like this where you're preparing really for the big tournament.
Well, obviously it's a lot different than the competition over here. So especially for my hitters, it's good to adjust to the speed and the balls. So I want to give them a lot of at-bats and prepare them the best they can for the Worlds.
What sort of differences have you found? Now, you came over from New Zealand, brought a lot of your knowledge over here. What exactly has been some of the challenges that you've had, in doing that? Because I say that because ambassadors like yourself are what spread the game.
Yeah.
So, what have you run into here in particular? Because really, you're still here, so that's a good thing.
Well, it's a baseball culture over here. So softball is they look at it like it's only for women. So all the guys are playing baseball until they're like 30, 31, and then I have to develop them into softball players. So the pitching in softball is a lot different. So they have to make adjustments in their swing and in their approach. And that's aside from the pitching. I mean, I'm fortunate that I have a couple of good pitchers now, but that takes like 10 years to develop.
Well, and then you've definitely really you took nothing as that ball is drifting foul from Jorgensen. You've taken nothing and you've built something. That's very hard to not only change the perception of what the game is, but also to lure kids at a younger age to want to play. So very hard. Would you say a tournament like this here is beneficial to helping?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you look at the crowd, I mean, I think it's been like 15 years since the last turnout like this. So that's awesome. And one of my goals for the next couple of years is to build a young national team, like under 19, under 23, something like that. It makes my life easier for the national team, but it's also about spreading the love of the game. So.
Absolutely. So let's look now and talk a little bit about some of the teams that you're going to be competing against. You're pretty familiar with the big guys that are up there. Fortunate enough to be able to play against a couple of those teams here today. Was that I would think a benefit to your team, or do you think that it's something your team felt maybe a little intimidated?
Well, I think coming in this week, because we played a couple of exhibition games against Australia and New Zealand, they were definitely intimidating. But I think we're adjusting. We played a really nice game against the Black Sox this morning, and I saw a lot of positive things. And I think we're going through the process, and they understand which way we want to go. So now it's try to build up against Japan and South Africa today, and then we're off to Prague.
That is excellent, and that's certainly the plan. And I think we have to thank you. And I mean, as a broadcaster, because we follow the international circuit throughout a number of years, so we see a lot of the kids go from the juniors to the seniors. We see some of the seniors sort of their career evolve and get better, and then get more experience and take on a greater role. So watching what you've done with that program in the Netherlands, to see how you guys now are a team that people sit down and they contemplate and they scout you guys, and they want to make sure that they know who you are, so they don't underestimate you. That is attributed to a big part to yourself. So I want to congratulate you on that and doing a big part, because when I started covering the international game about 15 years ago, you guys really weren't on the softball map, right? You were just up and coming. So now to see where you guys are and see you competitive in all these games against, the world's top-ranked teams means if you had a little more to work with, it would probably be a different story. But you guys have so many challenges, as you see Adam Folkart take control as 1-2-3 down go Denmark. Still a 1-0 ball game. We're about to slide to 5 when we come back. Back here for inning number 5, and of course joined by the head coach of the Netherlands, Bentan Paas. And just one final question for you. I just want to know what can you hope, or what is your goal heading into the Worlds in Prague next week for your team?
As a team, we set the goal as top 8, but that would be like really awesome. I think there's never been a team higher from the Netherlands than top 12. So top 8 is the goal. And if we play like we did this morning, I'm real confident that we can do it. We have to turn up the bats a little bit, but our defense was awesome. The pitching is great, so that's where it starts. And if we can get some timely hits, we can surprise.
Well, I'm looking forward to those surprises. We'll be in Prague following you, following your team, and following your progress. I hope while we're there we'll get a chance to get you back up in the booth again.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it, and good luck to you and the rest of your team heading into the World Championships. Just a heading up, it was supposed to be Ryan Sinclair that would be our scheduled hitter, but it's James Todhunter that has come in to take over the duties of hitting, and he'll get his look at Kim Hansen. And that's a ground ball. It's trying to sneak down the line. Going to be a tough throw, not in time. So Todhunter will beat that out. Thanks very much, Coach. Take care, and it'll be a leadoff single for James Todhunter. Todhunter, of course, no stranger to international competition. He, of course, a mainstay on this club. Joined now again with our usual partner in crime, although he usually handles the crime side of things.
Yes.
Izzy Nukunuku, proud of it too. That's why I like him. As we're going to go at a bunt, and it's a good one. Fielded by Hansen. Good job on the rotation. So a good job of executing by Scott Patterson. I would classify that as a legitimate sack.
That's one of the best ones we've seen.
One of the best ones we have seen for sure. And the 1-4 putout has a runner at second base for Nick Shales.
I'm not sure if you've alluded to Jet Wright's injury. He's just talking to the manager. He's just on ice, so he's looking fine.
I checked over as well and precautionary, and I think that's a good thing. We were just about to get to that, so thanks for the report. And that ball is lined down the line. Just foul. It was hit just a bit too hard, and it had a
tail.
good hook on it. It sure did have a tail.
That would catch a fish.
It would. Nick Shales put a charge in that one, just wasn't able to keep it fair. That was extra bases for sure. All turns into a loud strike here as Hansen goes back to work.
Getting old. It's not every day Lumberjack says he's getting old.
I tell you. Heard it all now. And that calls shot up the middle, base hit. Todhunter rounding third. He'll come in to score. No need to make that throw. Nick Shales, an RBI single. 2-0 for Australia.
He hit that one hard.
That was a solid single up the middle.
That's the reason why I don't like the pitch.
Sorry, I was always an infielder. You need a little bit more time. That's way too close to the batter as far as I'm concerned, being the pitcher. Way too close. I'm not quite sure. I guess I would probably check that ball as well. It may have a dent in it. Just might.
Oh, yeah, they're throwing them away.
Yeah, that one's done.
I think he dented two of them.
He did well, I don't think they should even brought that other one back that hooked away with that tail. That ball was junk. So he put 2 out of commission, cashed in a run. That's what you do when you're one of the best. And now it'll be up to O'Byrne here to try and move the runner along. And that ball way out in front pops that up, and it drifts out of play, foul.
And I hear that every time he comes to the bat, they all call him Roomy. I'm just trying to figure out why he's roomy with everyone.
See, I'm leaving that alone. It's another thing. Like I had heard that whenever you're around, something about a bag boy, something like that. So it's funny how you just happen to be in places and things just kind of just trail behind. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know how. You talk about a guy's reputation preceding him, man.
I guess sometimes you feel like you're his roomie though.
Good idea. Excellent job to try to bring that back to where you want it to go. I like your style that way. You got to understand where I'm trying to go.
I know.
Okay, all right.
Trump.
Listen, your kids at home, they better go, oh, no. Oh, well, they know their dad anyway. So.
And they're listening. They're listening. That's the thing.
Good. Well, give them a shout-out, will you, please?
Yeah, my son's already told me what time's the flight home because you're pretty terrible on the mic.
They are brutally honest, aren't they?
Yes, us Nuka-Nukas keep it real.
That's what you do. Fly out there and a good play out in right field from the busy Anton Brown.
Yes, I guess he's never caught as many fly balls in right field.
Not that wasn't in practice for sure because he's gotten a lot of work. It'll be Josh White now with 2 away. And a runner in Nick Shales at first base. 1 run already plated here. The Aussies leading this one 2-0. Hansen comes up, misses out of the zone.
Kim Hansen's been quite colourful in this game. Striking everyone out, hitting a few, blowing kisses.
Well, I tell you, he's sure condensing a whole lot in a little bit of time as Shales was on the move. That one fouled away.
He reminds me of a pitcher in New Zealand, old days, old Steve Jackson. He used to love to, awesome pitcher, used to love to use the crowd though.
Oh, really? A little other part of that entertainer aspect in it too, right? So needless to say, he had friends on his team, but not so much on other teams. Okay. And that in there for a strike. And thought Jorgensen may have popped up a bit quick to obstruct the view, but our umpire, Rice, has got to be a good 6'5" himself.
Yeah, I think he can tap him on the head as he stands up.
I think so. And that ball is fouled down the third base line. So good cut there from White, not able to keep her fair, and he'll come back up for a reset. Lance Wynn and Izzy Nuku, of course. Jason Gerbis, a.k.a. Chopper, will be in the house for our next game. So make sure you stay tuned. That will be South Africa against Denmark. So Denmark going back-to-back here. That, of course, will be followed a little later on, 5 o'clock scheduled time in Australia and New Zealand. So if we do get those two, and I know you had a little bit of a philosophy about what they'd like to do, the Aussies, with some of their young pitchers, including Mr. Reed. What are your thoughts?
Well, Leighton Reed, he spent the season this year in New Zealand pitching for Northcote Choppers.
That ball is lined out to center field. One hops the wall. Shales is going to round third. He's going to score. White's going to pull it up at second. An RBI double cashes in another. It's 3-0 for Australia.
So, yeah, alluding to Reed, we expect to see him actually on the mound tonight against New Zealand. New Zealand's batters have seen him before, but he's a good young pitcher. He won the under-19 World Championship last year, and he's, like I said, we see today with the catcher was catching Adam Folkert. He's a young catcher, and Adam's working with him and teaching him things, and Nick Shales is talking to him all the time about how to use different things. So they're building their team for the future, and got guys that good that can help you it's only bodes well for the team.
Well, they're only really taking a page out of an organization or a country that has made, a habit of doing that. And, of course, you know that because that's where you're from. So you learn from the best. You take those kind of things. And if you can spend time learning a game from guys that have mastered the game or at the top of the game, then you're lucky. You're in the right situation. It's a win-win. Even as a coach, you got to figure that that's beneficial because these kids are going to be picking up things and carrying it on when you no longer have those guys. So, good job on their part, and I think that Leighton Reed, we haven't even really seen yet what this kid can do. Grounded to short, scooped up, and in time. So finally the bleeding stops, but not before. The Aussies cash in 2 more, 3-0. We're going to continue our slide to 5 after this. Back for our second half of our slide to 5. It'll be Svein, Brown, and Wong. Scheduled 3 hitters to face Adam Folkert here. 3-0 lead for the Aussies.
We just heard the assistant coach of Denmark yelling out to his team that they've got 12 minutes to go. So better put bat to ball.
So we've got some work to do here, and probably not going to get a whole lot of cooperation from the man in the circle. Although he may help speed things up for you. That's about all he's willing to do, as that pitch in there for a called strike.
So Adam came out of a inter squad game and got a line drive back at his leg, and he seems to be fine now.
And Adam's the kind of guy, he's like a karate man. He can keep his weaknesses on the inside. He doesn't want to show anything. So, we talk about Adam in great kindness and due to his ability. Under no circumstance do we think he's untouchable, and we've seen him. Good try by Nick Shales. Almost had that. Probably didn't need to scale the fence. That was the difference there.
That's what happens when you climb trees, lumberjacks.
That is. I tell you, had he left the tree alone and just reached over, would have had it. But a good attempt on that foul ball. So Adam, though, not, invincible by any stretch. But I think that's part of the reason that a lot of people gravitate to the fact that he works so hard. That pitch there is just... You're not going to make too many friends throwing that pitch. I assure you that.
You will if you catching it all day.
If you catch catching it all day, you sure will.
He can go around and tell his friends, look what I caught.
So Anton Brown, probably the busiest, certainly fielder on this team in this ball game, as he's had a couple of tough chances that he's managed to deal with in the right manner, so having himself a good ball game defensively. Offensively, he grounded out in his last at bat. He struck out to end the second inning. So got a little work to do on that end, but no surprise when you're facing the likes of Adam Folkert.
So Anton Brown, he spent his season in New Zealand playing for Mount Albert Ramblers, and came back to Denmark feeling a little bit more confident. But I guess Adam just shoots that confidence straight away.
Well, he's certainly not helping, right? He certainly doesn't like you leave the ballpark saying, well, I did really good. And, it's a tough thing with facing him, no matter how you look at it. Yeah, but that ball is lifted up and got a good piece of that. And You can get out of this ballpark right now. How about that?
How about that? Confidence is back.
Look at Anton Downtown Brown going deep on Adam Folkart, a solo shot, and he gives his team some life, trailing now 3-1.
I guess we should talk about confidence hitting more often.
I guess there's not a whole lot. I'm sure Anton Brown might say that, talk about it some more. Maybe we'll have some more luck. But Alejandro Wong now the hitter. Tough act to follow.
Oh.
And I think now
He just turned the bunt, saw the ball hit the umpire, and thought he should run to first.
I wasn't quite sure what all went down there. I thought I missed something. But
Umpire got something in the carriage. Catcher went running for the bunt, and the ball went past all of them and hit the umpire. But the batter thought he should still run to one.
Well, you could take a base, right? We've seen the scenario before, though. We've seen Adam give up a home run or a clutch hit or something along those lines, and he's filing that in the database, and for the future. And it'll be interesting to see if those two lock horns again during the Worlds, what kind of adjustments Adam will make next time he sees Anton Brown. Down goes Wong for the second out, and that'll bring up Jakob Berger. Sorry, Jakob Borger.
No, Burger. You can say Burger as well, I think.
So is it Berger or is it Borger?
I think it's Burger. I call him Jakob Burger.
Jakob Berger? Okay, well then we'll go with Berger, and I'll check with him and make sure that he's not offended. Because Izzy.
Sometimes you need fries as well.
I'm gonna let you try to get with it, but I'm gonna let your kids handle you on that. Okay, I'm sure they'll give it to you straight.
Well, the burgers at the park are lovely. Everyone's telling us. Chopper's had a few.
Yeah, Chopper's had a few of a lot of things. As that is fouled straight back, handling it like a trooper though, but he has
But all the volunteers are helping out today.
It's funny, it's credit day.
Yeah.
Right? It's different on credit day. So it's good to see Chopper Gerbis back hard at work doing his producing role, as he's done a number of roles here in this tournament.
Pillar being one.
Oh, he's definitely been filling that role for sure. Folkart missing down.
Just love all the ball girls and boys. They just, as soon as their ball goes, they go running into their bush.
Full uniform and helmet.
Yep.
It's impressive. So
Not afraid.
They take this job serious. Took something off, and down goes Berger. But not before a big home run from Anton Brown gets his team on the board. Denmark trailing this one 3-1. Heading to the top of the sixth inning. Australia holding a 3-1 lead. It'll be Norton, followed by Liam O'Leary, who has re-entered the game for Callum Bishop. followed by James McGovern, the scheduled 3 hitters. Sorry, and James Purcell, the scheduled 3 hitters, not Norton, for the Aussies here as time is becoming a factor. Each game a scheduled hour and a half, and O'Leary will take a pitch or two as Hansen pours in a strike. Swing and a miss. Good pitch from Hansen as he sits down O'Leary. And that'll bring up Josh McGovern. Seven strikeouts in total for Kim Hansen. So a solid ball game from Hansen. Like you said, Izzy has done a little everything here. Took something off, and that pitch in there for a strike.
It's a nice changeup.
Very good change, I agree.
He tries to throw it again.
Yep, tried to come back with it again, missed upstairs. I wouldn't get too cute with that pitch, though. If it's left at the right height, it doesn't really have the velocity to do a whole lot coming in, but it could be extra long going out. So can't fall in love with any pitches. And that ball is lifted up, and one more time, surprise. Anton Brown lost it in the sun, rounding second, and he'll hold up. So Anton Brown, after going deep and making all the plays, the fly ball from Josh McGovern, lost it in the sun. McGovern on second base now. Didn't touch his glove, so I'm going to give him a double. Why you gotta sound like that? Is he really?
Because it touched his shoes.
It did. Listen, I'm not on the kid. Let the kid have some. Let him have a moment, okay? Had a lot of work out there. Been tested like crazy.
Freddie Turkelson in center field is showing him how to use his glove to protect the sun.
You got 2 Turkelsons patrolling the outfield, and Anton Brown's getting all the work.
Yeah.
So
he might have a tired glove. That's probably why I couldn't get it up there in the sun.
I used to hate when my glove would take a nap at the worst time.
And that was one of those times, yeah.
That was one of those times. That ball is ripped to center, but right at Turkelson. Almost doubled up at second base. That's how hard it was hit. So Purcell put a charge in it. It was a line drive, though, right to Freddie Turkelson out there in center field. And McGovern was able to take 2 steps off the bag and had to scamper back, or he would have been gunned out and doubled up. Taking it back to the top of the shop now with 2 away for Ryan Sinclair, who is reinserted back into the game after James Todhunter hit for him last time around. And that ball lifted up. Turkelson, Freddie calling for it, shading the eyes, making a grab in center field. And that is officially the way you do it. And he sure looked like he made a point of that. And either way, so an error. A runner left aboard, but no runs pushed across. 3-1 Australia. We are headed to the home half of the 6th.
I was trying to get him to go and play for Northcote as well.
Here, back for the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Martin Simonson who will come in to hit for Duncan Milne. Then back to the top of the shop in Vladdy Turkelson and Anders Jorgensen. And a swing and a miss. And you were saying, Izzy, that this Simonson, there's another Simonson as well that is sort of lurking in the mix.
Yeah, his brother Matt Simonson is quite a quality player. Went to the World Championships in Saskatoon and managed to put 2 out of the park against Japan. But doesn't back himself at the moment, so so Marty's the light, I guess.
Okay. I'm not quite sure what else he could have done to convince him that, he should still be heavily involved in the game, but that sounds like some success to me.
Yeah.
But no easy task to internationally do anything with all the factors involved. It takes a lot to perform on the world stage, as that pitch from Folkart is chased down and away. So a big test here for Martin Simonson, facing one of the world's best pitchers right here. And a swing and a miss, just overmatched on that rise ball. Folkart brought that right in. And he brings that up at you, but he also brings it in just a bit. And that pitch tailing in, there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do with it by the time you get there. And you're only really swinging at the narrow part of the barrel. So your odds have decreased even more so. Vladdy Turkelson now 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And not quite sure how much you could frame that pitch, but still didn't get the call regardless.
Purcell doing a good job behind the plate.
And a swing and a miss. Vladdy out of his shoes there chasing that pitch.
Valdemar always his worst critic. That's what makes you a good player, I guess, being your worst critic.
Well, I think it certainly keeps you humble enough to know that you're not the best and that there's always room for improvement, which is the attitude I think every athlete should have. And that pitch looked pretty good, but Valdemar just shaking his head, knows that it missed. Folkart goes for a little bit of an extra couple-step walk before he toes things up. And the count 3 balls, 1 strike. And Turkelson just got a piece of that, fouled that out of play, had himself a good rip at it.
Love seeing the stirrups again. You noticed that?
Sending it back, isn't he?
Yeah.
The good old days before, the long pants all the way down. And a single up the middle for Valdemar Turkelson. His first hit of the game.
Gives it a little fist pump up, getting up to first base.
I tell you, you get a hit off Adam, you've earned a fist pump.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all. Don't blow any kisses or anything like that, but fist pump just to yourself is well worth it. Anders Jorgensen now will step in. He is struck out in his previous 2 at-bats. The 2, 3, 4 hitters have each combined for 6 strikeouts here in this game.
That ball just left the park. Went off the catcher, over the fence, into the stands, without being a hit.
That was a lot happening there.
Yeah, that was a home run for the crowd at the back.
Crowd at the back, eh? Solo shot. 13 strikeouts up to this point for Adam Folkart. And that one took something off, bounced that in.
It's a nice block from the catcher, keeping the ball in front.
Well done by Purcell, and you said Purcell had to fight through a bit of an injury, the finger.
His one was the throat.
Oh, his was the throat, you were right, correct.
Yesterday he was catching at Andrew Kirkpatrick, and he missed the ball and hit him smack in the throat. Sent him skittling for a couple, but good to see him back on the diamond.
Certainly not showing any ill effects on that, and that's a good thing. And tried to nibble, didn't get the call on the outside corner. Jorgensen having a much better at-bat than the previous two, where he was swinging on the first strikeout and caught looking on the second. And Folkart tried to come back in, didn't get the call. So Jorgensen draws a walk. Just the first walk issued by Folkart in this game, and now there are 2 runners aboard, the tying run aboard for Fred Turkelson here in a 3-1 game.
Brings a quality bat to the plate, and looks like Oscar Anderson is going to be taking over for
Jorgensen.
For Jorgensen. I guess Anderson looks like he's a little bit quicker than Jorgensen.
Well, yes, just a bit, and we're going to just take a general.
But I think those legs could cover those bases. Like 3 steps, you'll be there.
I think so too. I don't know. The question is would he be too tired by the time he got around? What's the story is? Those thin, speedy guys, right?
Yeah, us thin, speedy guys.
Oh, us. Oh,
yeah.
I see. Listen, remember we already had that discussion about the fitness club that we go to. You asked me to join. I joined.
Yep. And Billy Bob has been looking after us since.
That's right. Exactly. That's the one. That is the club. So a chance here late with the bottom of the 6th inning. Probably going to be the last chance time-wise here. So Adam Folkart against Freddie Turkelson with the tying run on first base. There's one away here, and Turkelson with a swing and a miss.
Turkelson's been struck out twice at the plate, so he'll be looking to redeem his first 2 at-bats and look to put the ball in play.
I think that'll be key here, infield that regulation depth. And this is usually when Adam Folkart will bear down just a little bit harder. And the same has to be said for Turkelson. And that's a high chopper, but gobbled up for 1, over to 2, not in time. No, coming home, run will score. So heads up by Valdemar Turkelson to come around, good base running to cash in that run. The fielder's choice, the force at second base, will gun down Oscar Anderson. And Freddie Turkelson on the fielder's choice will remain at first base safe. So a runner on first for Daniel Juman, 2 away, and the tying run on the sacks. So Folkart missing upstairs.
Denmark have a sniff. Tying run, best power hitter of the Danish team at the plate.
Gonna have to put him in motion. And that was a good pitch that didn't get the benefit of the call.
It looked like it handcuffed the catcher, and the umpire got a little bit of a flinch on that one. But they're doing a good job, all the umpires, out there hunting to make sure they don't make those mistakes.
That one, swing and a miss. That was a power pitch and a power swing. No contact made, just a whole lot of air, and the count.
Coach throwing signals. Freddie has good speed on first base.
2-1s in the dirt, and runners going and out on the play as Turkelson is gunned down on an outstanding throw from Purcell.
It's a great throw.
And I think that's going to be the ball game, and one heck of a play to gun down that runner in Turkelson trying to advance and get into scoring position for Julemon. And that will be the case. So a 3-2 final for Australia. And what are some of your final thoughts? Is he what you saw from Australia and what you saw from Denmark?
Adam was strong as usual, and the young Purcell behind the plate gets the last out. The runner trying to get into scoring position, he blocks it up and comes up with the cannon. Shows why he's here. But otherwise, Kim had a good game. He kept them in the game. He gave them enough chances to score runs to get the win. But at the end of the day, Adam did a better job.
You're right, 13 strikeouts for Adam Folkart, and an outstanding effort from Kim Hansen and Team Denmark. So these two teams will regroup. Denmark, they will go again, as will Australia a little later today. Make sure you tune in. We've got continuing coverage throughout this entire day on Super Sunday here from the Blikkenburg Sportspark here in Zeist. Back after a short break.
Up the middle, in comes Benny Milko coming around third. He'll score easily.